to the Niger Ombudsman, and it's a pleasure to have you on my channel once again. I just want to say that I'm happy to see you again. Thanks for those of you who have subscribed to my channel, and if you do like the content that I post, please why don't you go ahead and press that like button and also subscribe, because that will also help encourage what I am doing here. And today I have just two issues. The first one is on Senegal. Yes, Senegal has been very much in the news. People like good things, and those who are progressive minded are happy to see what has gone on in Senegal to this extent. So we are really very happy for Senegal. And then the second one is on the issue of the landmark resort, beach resort in Lagos, Nigeria. But let's start with the first one. We all know that two of my episodes were dedicated to the Senegal elections, how Macky Sall had tried to oppress the people and force the elections to be postponed till December, putting forward one flimsy excuse. But we all knew that he had an ulterior motive for that. But thank God that the progressive-minded people of Senegal did not allow that excuse to fly. And we can see that when a group of people who are desiring change stand together to resolutely demand what they want, it will come to pass. And that is what has happened in Senegal. Change does not come on a platter of gold, especially when there's a dictator in place. So the people were aware of this. So they continued to fight even when Macky Sall had killed some of them, even when he had sent out the police to maim and harm them. They still continued to push. The opposition parties stood together, and the people also arose to fight for what they desired. And we have now come to see that change. And that is what Nigerians should learn from. Change does not come from a platter of gold. You've got to stand together, you've got to struggle for it, and then you've got to continue to push until what you desire come to pass. So I say a big congratulations first to the political parties, the opposition parties who stood together, and also to the people of Senegal. The change you desire is now gradually beginning to happen. Bassirou Diomaye Faye has now become your president, and he has proceeded to appoint Ousmane Sonko as his prime minister, and these are referred to as the tag team for change. For Ousmane Sonko and his friend Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the president, I want to say that you guys, you stood together. Friendship brought you together. The desire for you to see a new Senegal brought you together. And you are now still together. But you see, one thing about power is that, one, it is transient, and also it corrupts. Like they say, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You must understand this. That is one of the things that will guide you to ensure that what brought you together will be realized for the people of Senegal. And so, for Ousmane Sonko and Diomaye Faye, you guys, please, I want to ask that you stand together and let what had initiated your relationship, which is the desire to see a better Senegal, let that continue to be the focus in all that you do. And I want to say that for Bassirou Faye, that is the new president, you have to continue to hold on to Sonko. When you guys work together, I believe that you will truly see what you desire for your country. So I want to say, once again, a big congratulations. The man who tried to oppress you, the man who tried to push you down, the man who tried to frustrate the will of the people, Macky Sall, is now on the run. He has run to France. The Bible says that the wicked runs when no man pursueth. He ran even just a few hours after the swearing in ceremony. If his hands were clean, he would have been celebrated. He would have stayed back in Senegal to enjoy and to be a father figure to you young guys. But because his hands are not clean, he has to run to his masters in France. And I am happy that, you see, these nations are breaking free from the oppressive hand of France, because France is yet to realize that these are now independent nations. France, the greed of France, which unfortunately Emmanuel Macron, as young as he is still yet to realize. It is sad that despite the fact that you guys, these nations have achieved or realized their independence for many years now, they still continue to be under oppression. You guys still continue to systematically loot resources from these nations and bring and continue to put them under subjection. And I'm happy that a lot of them are now waking up. And that is why we see a high resentment for France today. And so, if France want to really change the dynamics with the former colonies, they have to rethink their external policies. Otherwise, things will not change. That resentment is still going to get hotter, and they are going to still continue to get distant from them. So I hope France will wake up and realize the damage that it's doing to itself internationally. There's a huge task ahead for Ousmane, Sonko, and Diomaye. There's a huge task ahead for you guys, but I believe that you are already taking a bold step. At least, if not for anything, with the audit of the oil and gas contracts and the solid minerals contracts, that is a bold step, and that is a step in the right direction, because as this audit is going on, you will know the contracts that have been awarded, the conditions under which they have been awarded. Does it favor Senegal, or is it in favor of those who are coming to mine these resources in your country? And then how much has been realized? How has the resources been utilized in your country? At least these are some of the questions the audit that is going to be done will try to answer. So I hope that after this audit, if there are people to be called to book, if there are people who need to give account, that they are made to do so without any fear or favor. And also, I also hope that whatever money you guys continue to realize from the resources of the people of the country, that it will be utilized in such a way that the people of Senegal truly see that their lives are being bettered, they are cared for, and then the high unemployment among the youth is being addressed and brought down, so that you guys create an environment that will help bring in investors, and that will help also empower small-scale investors, small-scale industries, as well as medium-scale industries, because these are some of the things that will help your economy really begin to kick forward. So I'm really very happy for that which you have done. And so please, you guys also know the low profile you had kept, because the fact that Bassirou Faye was able to declare his own assets just before the election, and you alone was the one who was able to boldly step out to declare your assets. The other candidates, none of them could do so. So it shows that your hands are clean. So you have to continue to maintain this kind of stance, because with this kind of stance, it shows that you cherish accountability. You have nothing to hide. And you must also continue to ask yourself, what does a man really need? What does a man really need? You have been able to sustain yourself over the years without looting resources, and as the president, you have a lot of privileges, and so does Ousmane Sonko, your tag team partner. So you guys should continue to understand that you do not need to loot the people's resources. Just use these resources to ensure that your country develop, and you change the trajectory for your people, and leave your name in the history book for good and not bad. And also, one thing I also want to add: do not be like the last two presidents who have tried to manipulate things so that they can continue to be in office. Know that the beauty of democracy is that you come, you play your part, and you exit the stage. That is the beauty of democracy. And that is the reason why people are happy with Senegal. Because much as Macky Sall and his predecessor tried, much as they tried to break or destroy this practice that have been on, they failed woefully. So Senegal today still remains the only country that has had a consistent democracy since independence. So that is something for you guys to be really proud about. So for Diomaye, for Bassirou Faye, who is the president, you are the fifth president, so you have to ensure that you play your part, and then you also leave the stage when the time comes. Lastly, I want to say that it is sad that Bola Tinubu could show his face in such a place and even trying to show off himself. With the mess you guys created in Nigeria, you made a mockery of democracy, of the democratic process in the last elections in Nigeria. And it's sad that you could still go ahead to show your face in Senegal. Senegal had a beautiful election. The people's voice were heard. The people voted, their vote counted. But in Nigeria's last election, you, the INEC chairman, and Buhari, who has now gone to Daura, you guys messed up the whole political process for Nigerians. And today, Nigeria is yet to get over it. And for you to go to Senegal to throw your agbada around is such a shame. I hope that you have learned a big lesson being at that swearing ceremony. But the problem with many of our political leaders is that they hardly learn. So I want to say, in conclusion, a big congratulations to the people of Senegal, to the opposition parties who stood together, and then to Bassirou Faye, who is now the new president, and Ousmane Sonko. Please, you guys have a lot on your plate. And I believe that if you stand together, the change that you desire for your country will be really achievable. And the people of Senegal will end up coming out the beneficiaries of good governance. So please, I plead with you, it is possible. And so I go to the next point, which is the issue of the landmark beach resort in Lagos. Like you know, Paul Onwunaibe, who is the proprietor of the landmark beach resort in Lagos, has been very much in the news lately. Actually, I had to take time to read about this particular issue because I was wondering, why would the Lagos state government give a vacation notice to a business that has been existing for such a long time, until I got to know the details. This whole thing started because the federal government has started to construct the Lagos Calabar coastal road. I think they call it the coastal highway. The road linking, they're trying to build a road to link Lagos to Calabar. And this road is going to go through 9 states. That is a massive project. But I want to say that the problem we see in many of our countries is that they do not have long-term plans. And even if they do, they end up rubbishing it. Because if the federal government had a long-term plan, because in many countries, even in the city where I am right now, as at probably 8 years ago, I received a copy of the 25-year plan of the city. So if the federal government had a long-term plan, we will not see this problem we are seeing on the ground today. Because Paul Onwunaibe declared that he bought that land in 2007. So 2007 to today, it's almost 20 years. It's almost 20 years. It's 17 years. So that's a long time. And this man has invested so much on that beachfront. The investment is well over $100 million. And that business employs, directly and indirectly, over 12,000 people. But the Minister of Works, David Umahi, had come out to say that the business will not be affected because they are just taking about 50 meters from the shoreline. The structures, the solid structures will be in place. But the main attraction of the landmark beach resort is the shoreline. So if you take that away, you are practically killing the business. Apart from the Paul Onwunaibe talking about compensation, which of course should be the ideal thing, he should talk about, I think the federal government, what they should have done ideally is to have invited the Lagos State government, Paul Onwunaibe, to Iran and his partners to a roundtable discussion to work out ways in which the desire to build Lagos Calabar coastal highway and also to save the landmark beach resort, they should have come together to work out ways to ensure that these two go hand in hand. And so just coming out in the usual Nigeria political approach or politician approach to say we are giving you evacuation notice, I think that was very crude. And now a business that have been in place for almost 17 years, you are now putting it in jeopardy. If you take the shoreline away, what's then the attraction for the business? But I just hope that there is a way to ensure that it's a win-win situation, both for the federal government and for the landmark beach resort, so that the business is the businesses, because the landmark beach resort is a place where you have a lot of businesses under that umbrella. So I hope that there will be a reasonable way to work out these things so that the businesses do not suffer, the people who are employed do not turn out at the end to become unemployed, because the landmark resort has become a wonderful attraction, and one that also is giving the Lagos State and Nigeria a good image, because when many tourists come, that is a place they want to go to enjoy the beach. And so please, it's an appeal to the federal government as well as the Lagos State government. They should find a way to ensure that if there's possibility for a redesign so that that business is saved, they should be able to try to make adjustment to ensure that the business does not crumble, and the people, Paul Onwunaibe and the investors do not lose the money they put into this business and then the jobs of the people are safe, because now we have an employment rate that's above 23%. So if this business is made to go down, we'll only be adding or increasing the statistics of unemployment. So this is an appeal to the federal government to have a rethink, so that things can work better, even for Polo Munaibe and the landmark beach resort. So I want to say thank you for stopping by for this video. Like, you know that the purpose of this channel is to ensure that we have a better Nigeria, a better Africa, and the world generally. Remember, you are the change you desire to see. If you want the world to begin to get better, you've got to start with yourself. So take that step to ensure that you make your little contribution. That way we'll have a better Nigeria, a better Africa, or a better world in general. May God bless you. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.